When it came to reciprocal teaching, that was one of the Thinkery strategies that I was most interested in using, because I feel like grade 9, they're incredibly social. In a heterogeneous classroom, there's a very diverse cross-section of abilities, and I thought it would serve students well, and it did. I did it at least 3 times in some classes, 5 times in others, and every time was successful. There is something about giving kids permission to be autonomous and to work together effectively that served them, not just in terms of literacy, but also socially and just overall academically. It was very, very productive. I appreciated it very much. Every student felt like they had a role that mattered. Every student felt like they were capable of contributing in a meaningful way, and they were able to walk away with a very high understanding of what they read. We just recently went through state testing, and the kids had the best scores that I've ever had, that I've ever seen. And I know it's because I started actually implementing these literacy strategies.
So what we're going to do today is a reciprocal teaching activity. We've done this before, where I'm going to share with you a short story that you have no experience with and no prior knowledge. It is entitled All Summer in a Day by Ray Bradbury.
Now this is taken from the Thinkery text that we've used throughout the unit. Reciprocal teaching is a collaborative, together routine for improving comprehension. 4-person teams use the skills of summarizing, questioning, clarifying, and predicting to bring meaning to the text. When you are independently reading a story, you're going to do all of these roles by yourself, with yourself in your mind. We're going to do it today orally, verbally, so that people can hear us, and you're going to take turns with those roles. As a reminder, how we've done this in the past is we'll read one page together, and each of us will then perform our role, and we'll have a nice discussion. We'll read the next page, switch roles, and then repeat the process until we have finished reading the piece. Who's ever responsible for being the summarizer? It is your job to highlight key ideas, and those include the important ideas in what I read are. Answer those questions as you're reading. What are the big ideas? What's happening? The questioner is going to pose questions about the selection. What connections can I make? How does this information change what I'm thinking? What is the author telling me by this comment? The clarifier, and this sometimes kids find the most difficult and challenging, addresses confusing parts and attempts to answer the questions. You don't have to have an absolute answer. You just need to try and to be thinking about it. You might want to ask yourself, I don't understand the part where, I need to know more about. That's your role as the clarifier. And finally, the predicting. And you know how much I care about this piece. Strong readers, as they're reading, are thinking about what next. Where is this going? So you want to offer guesses about what the author is going to tell you next. I think, I wonder, I predict. Any questions on these roles? Okay, good job.
Okay. So like Elijah will be the summarizer. Okay. I'll be the questioner, clarifier, predictor. Predict. You want to start reading? Alright. Ready? Ready. Now? Soon.
It rained. It had been raining for 7 years. Thousands upon thousands of bees pounded and floating from one end to the other.
I think at first they're all in the classroom and like it's top, they're like so excited to do something and they know today's the day.
The kids don't like her because she gets to go back to Earth, even though her family's going to lose thousands of dollars for it. And so they're like jealous of her, so they're trying to walk her into a closet before the teacher comes back.
Are they actual humans?
Yeah, clarify. So what do you think about their alien thing?
I feel like they're humans because stuff that we use.
I predict that the sun will come out, but I don't think it's going to come out for very long. It's going to be like bittersweet because they're going to have it, and it's going to go back to rain, and they're going to be all sad.
Is somebody willing to offer a summary of what has taken place thus far on pages 1 and 2 of the text? Yes, Nico.
So she lives on Venus, and it rains. It's been raining there for almost 7 years, and she moved there while she was at the Earth. She was born there, whatever, and she moved there 5 years ago, and they have underground houses, but the school is above ground.
Do we have a sense of who Margot is? Can you describe this character of Margot? What do we know about her so far? Yes.
She's really pale. and she has not as much life in her as a lot of the other students there because of the rain affects her probably more than other students.
Why? Why do you say that?
I don't know, because it said that everyone else was kind of happy and she was more sad just standing there in the middle of the classroom while they all went outside.
Anybody have any good questions that have come to mind that you used in your groups? Yes.
Why they're on Venus?
Why are they on Venus? Any answers? What do folks think? Yes.
Research.
Potentially research, sure. Why else could we be there?
Something happened on Earth.
Why are they treating her so differently?
Awesome question.
Because she seems to be like an outcast and everyone else doesn't really like her.
Why?
Like, it's probably because she's from Earth and she knows she's experienced other things.
Any confusing parts that anybody would like to have kind of cleared up? Anything that was kind of vague or confusing that you'd like to kind of clarify and talk about right now? I think we may have cleared a lot of that up with our questions. How wet is it? I'm not quite clear on how.
Oh, it's pretty wet. It's raining for 7 years.
So it's constant rain. And somebody said the classroom's above ground, but the village is underground. Does everybody agree on that detail?
Yeah, but that's
I don't remember that either.
Okay.
Why would it be above ground then if it?
Let's see if we can find that detail.
Well, it says underground tunnels.
So we know it's underground tunnels.
Yeah, but how the
Because in school, you
Wow.
can teach kids.
They said that they were looking out the window at something, so like
Yeah.
the school had to
There you go.
at least be
There's
able
your
to see.
detail. Okay, thank you. Predictions. Would anybody like to predict some things that are going to happen, some things that are going to go down, where the story is going?
The sun's going to come out and the kids who haven't gone to Earth or seen the sun are going to see the sun.
Any other predictions about the sun, about where the story's going? Are you worried about Margot? Do you think she's going to win everybody over? What's going to happen to this girl?
I think that everybody's gonna like see the sun, and then they're gonna realize why she was always like so down, and why she never really fit in because there's no rain.
So maybe it'll actually help the others be more empathetic towards her?
Yeah, because
Okay.
like I can see why she's always in like a slump kind of.
Strong readers take the time in their minds, consciously or not, to summarize, make sure they understand what's happening, to be thinking about questions so your brain is fired up, it is intellectually present in the process. When you don't understand something, taking the time to think about it, to see if you can make sense of it. And strong readers predict, they picture what's going to happen in the future. And my most struggling readers, they don't do those things naturally. This gives them an opportunity to learn to do it. Everyone has a valuable active role. Everyone's voice is heard many, many times. For some kids, speaking once in a class is a big deal. With this activity, every student speaks several times, and their voice is heard, their ideas matter, and I think that's incredibly valuable.